Here's 10 things you didn't know about Only Built for Cuban Links. I'm going to be giving you facts about Nas, Ice Cream, Knowledge God, and the Purple Tape, which is of course what Cuban Links is. So now, let's talk about 10 things you didn't know about Only Built for Cuban Links.
I remember sitting down and we told RZA we need something in the beginning to light this shit up. And at that time we was looking at Scarface. We was looking at these movies and shit, so we went to that. We was like, yo, fuck that, we gonna put the skit on it. We was in the skits, and that part when Sosa and Scar and my nigga, they was going at it. They was like, hold on. Don't talk to me like that, man. Hold on, man. You know what I mean?
Take it easy when you talk to me, okay?
I told you a long time ago, you fucking little monkey, not to fuck me.
Hey, who the fuck you think you go for, huh? Who the fuck you think I am, you fucking cowboy?
I told you before, but we's like, that's it. And then the beat just came, and then that's when me and Ghost was like, you know what? Now we gonna go to another level with niggas now.
The meaning of Only Built for Cuban Links. In writing the script for a video for the movie that is only built for Cuban Links, the first thing we need to establish is what does the title mean. If you look at the 3 dots beside the word links, this means that the title was cut off. The full title that the label wouldn't allow was Only Built for Cuban Links niggas. But what does this statement really mean? Let's hear what Raekwon has to say about it.
I think it was a rhyme that was said that we was writing because we was doing a lot of writing together. Just reviewing our bars and just kind of like digging off each other. And at one time in the rhyme, it says something about only built for Cuban Links who pull stings, sporting big pieces of ice carved in rings. So right there, it hit me. It was like, yo, only built for Cuban Links. I'm like, yo, that sound like the biggest chain of all that can't be broken. It can't be broken, but it's the most gleamingest chain to come in the party with in front. And when you see with those on, those ain't your everyday. Those is different. They will come knock on your door, but the main thing was the shine and the lock that couldn't be broken. I used to run with that used to snatch chains and all that, and sometimes you go for the chain that you feel is the biggest and you looking at the lock because you like, yo, if the lock is kind of big, that determines how I'm gonna grab it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So those chains you couldn't actually break off nobody's neck. So I thought about the fact of the relationship that Wu-Tang had with each other and took that as a chain. This is a chain. We shining. We heavyweights now. Nobody can break this link. If one link is weak, we all look weak. The chain, it doesn't mean anything no more. So that's what I meant when I said only built, because only was the phrase that it really was private. It was almost like you had to be a member to respect this album.
Another thing that I find interesting now that we know what the title means is that Cuban Links was originally going to have a different title. The only problem was Mafia didn't like Raekwon's first idea for an album title. The Mafia has serious power. I've seen enough mobster movies to know that you don't want to get on their bad side. But this is real life. The real life Gambinos told Ray he could not name his album Wu Gambinos.
It was like, yo, you can't call no albums that. And this was a conversation that I had with Rifkin, because Rifkin's pops, rest in peace, he was connected. He had a lot of relationships. So I remember me enforcing the title on Steve and saying, yo, this is what we want to call it. We want to call it Wu Gambinos. And he like, yo, I'm gonna look into that. And I remember him coming back to me and saying, yo, it's not happening. I was like, you serious? He's like, yeah, it's not gonna happen. And he just told me like, yo, they not having that.
Thankfully, they were fine with him naming a song that, and it's a Wu banger that features Method Man, Ghostface Killer, Master Killer, and the RZA. But the main character of this Mafia movie is just different. The unique slang, the way he dressed, the beats he chose to rap on. Raekwon the Chef is just a different dude. So it's not surprising that Raekwon had a weird way of doing mic checks. Remember how there's a sniffing sound at the beginning of Knowledge God? Well, Raekwon clears up the question of whether or not he was sniffing coke in the studio session of this song. He says he wasn't, but after seeing this picture, it does make you wonder. But all jokes aside, here's his explanation. The sniffing at the start of the song just happened. That was part of the take. When I did it, it wasn't like we knew that was gonna be a part of the track. I just did it on some, a nigga don't gotta yell to hear the mic. A nigga could do another sound to hear the mic. So that happened to come out. I felt when I was sitting down writing that drug paraphernalia rhyme that I could have been a nigga on it like that at that time. We could have really been getting skied up, going to get this nigga after that. So it matched perfectly. But that wasn't like we was sniffing coke in the studio or no shit. The secret meaning for the title Knowledge God. I read this somewhere. It was either in a YouTube comment or a message board somewhere, and Raekwon has never confirmed it. But since the Wu-Tang are 5%ers, they often use the supreme alphabet. In the alphabet, K stands for king or kingdom, but they might also use it for knowledge. If anyone can confirm that, let me know. And the G stands for God. Now put K and G together, and you have the abbreviation for kilogram. He sniffs at the beginning of the song and tells the story of a drug dealer named Mike Lavona. I'm not 100% sure that that's what the title means, but it makes a lot of sense. The purple tape would have been the green tape. Back in the days as kids, when we did our little thing, we always tried to put some kind of packaging to let you know, yo, this is where you get it from. So that was my thing for the album, packaging, Raekwon said. But guess what? My favorite color wasn't purple at that time. My favorite color was army green, camo green. I always loved rugged colors and all of that. This album didn't sound like anything else out there. Me and Ghost was working hard to really get it to that level. And when it got there, I was like, I want to package it green. It's gonna be green. Raekwon and Ghostface Killah fought to make the cassette green, but the manufacturer didn't have green, forcing Raekwon to make a game time decision. I'm still in the color mode and vibing according to what I feel is gonna be it, but they only had 4 colors to choose from. There was the clear one, the yellow one, the red one, and the purple one, he explained. I chose the purple because purple represents royalty. It didn't come off on some girly style purple. It came off on official, fly, lavender purple. You know what I mean? Right after this quick break, we're gonna get into some facts about guillotines, incarcerated Scarfaces, and ice cream. But now, here's a word from our sponsors. This video is sponsored by Monev360 of Back to the Boom Bap's drum kit called Back to the Breakbeats. If you're a boom bap producer, you'll definitely want to get this drum kit. It has kicks like this, snares like this, hi-hats like this, and drum loops or breakbeats like this. So you can use the drum hits, you can use the drum loops, you can chop up the loops, you can use them as is, you can do whatever you want to do. As a matter of fact, the beat that you listen to right now was made with this drum kit. It doesn't matter what DAW you use or what hardware you use, you can use this drum kit. So if you want to make dope boom bap beats, then you gotta get Back to the Breakbeats. It will be linked in the description or in the pinned comment below. The reasons why Raekwon was named Raekwon the Chef. There's a lot to unpack with this nickname because for Raekwon, the name has multiple meanings. I mean, you could say that he's the chef because when he puts the pen to paper, he cooks up some marvelous shit. Or it could be for some of the reasons that RZA explains in the book The Wu-Tang Manual. To quote what he says about Ray from page 20, a lot of people want to know why Ray is called the chef. You see him on the inside cover of Only Built for Cuban Links. He's at the kitchen sink with the Pyrex, looking like he's about to cook something up. But at the same time, Ray literally was a chef. He was known for cooking up some really good fish. Whiteys, that's what we ate in the hood, and he could fry up some delicious whiteys. But also, in a bunch of the original Wu-Tang movies, one of the best fighters was this character, the chef. The guy who played him was Yuen Su Tien, who's the father of Yuen Wo Ping, the action director who choreographed the fight scenes in The Matrix and Kill Bill. And that chef, Yuen Su Tien, he had a pudgy look about him, like Raekwon, so that's another reason we call him the chef. The other thing about Raekwon being a chef is that it's an acronym. Wu-Tang does this a lot. Wu-Tang is witty, unpredictable talent and natural game. Cream is cash rules everything around me, of course. And chef stands for criminals have to eat food. Because criminals sometimes cook what I showed you in the picture of Raekwon cooking in the kitchen that's not food, but they can sell to eat, meaning make money so they can buy food. You know what I'm saying? I told you it was gonna get deep. But let's get back to talking about the album itself. The Guillotines beat first appeared on Method Man's debut Tikal. This is one of the facts that I just remembered from back in the day because I think I had dubbed Tikal on a cassette from a friend and I used to play it all the time. So when I got the Cuban Links CD, I recognized it from that previous year.
For me, there's been various samples from this movie.
Skills worthy of a general. And if you want to fight, fight with me. 1-to-1, man-to-man.
To me, that was a symphony track. Meth had a piece of that beat on his album that was used as a skit. Cause that's how RZA is. Sometimes he mix other shit in and give you a piece of something, but not really act like it's gonna be assigned to that. He'll see if somebody like it and use it for fillers or whatever. I had told RZA a while ago after he did that, yo, I want that beat. Raekwon wrote Incarcerated Scarfaces in 15 minutes. I was just rhyming, man. I came in RZA's basement one night and he had just had that shit popping and I looked around the room and nobody was there. I was like, I want this shit. This is me. I wrote my rhyme in maybe like 15 minutes. The whole 3 verses. I was just flying. It was just coming to me. But that's how I get it in sometimes. If something really yokes me up like this, the beat just go, then I'm ready to get on it. I just aired that shit out in like 15 minutes. Before you know it, the song was popping, hook on it, everything. We like, that's Cuban Links. RZA came up with the song concept for Ice Cream. I was shocked to hear that Ray didn't like Ice Cream because I've always loved that song. It's not the first song you'd expect to hear on the album, but it went hard because it was street. They didn't shiny suit it up and make it some old Motown sample with an overly pop, radio-ready hook, but Raekwon wasn't feeling it at first. I hated Ice Cream. That's crazy, right? It's funny because I love the beat. The only thing I didn't like about the record, I felt like it was too soft for Cuban Links. When I tell you everybody fought with me, even Ghost was like, nah G, this is it. And I was like, nah, it's too soft. We need everything hard, gutter. But there was no way Raekwon wasn't gonna change his mind once he heard how it all turned out. With that hook Method Man did, Ghost killed it, so did Capadonna.
RZA was like, yo, y'all got too many, jungle type of rhymes on there. We need something for the female perspective. So at that time, me and Ghost was like, yo, we ain't really making this album for the women, but at the end of the day, we respect what he said because we did have a lot of female followers, at that time. Meth was the Michael Jackson of the crew, so we knew that we had an audience of girls liking us. So we all agreed, like, yo, all right, yeah, we better have at least one for the ladies, So next thing you know, the beat RZA had sound like an ice cream type of beat. You know what I mean? The beat sounded like an ice cream truck. It sounded like you could have heard that on the ice cream truck. So we still ain't have a name for it yet, but we knew that might have been the closest, softest, but fly shit that's gonna make the album. So when it came down to the hook, I'm not Captain Hook. I don't really fuck with hooks like that. So at the end of the day, Meth was there, he was in the room, yo, Meth, handle that. Meth handled it. Yo, he came with it. You know what I mean? Go set it off, your honey dip, summertime, fine jibby. So we knew that the rhyme was going to be something catered to the females based on the fact of the hook made so much sense.
So just like a lot of other times when it pertains to Wu-Tang, RZA knew what he was talking about. According to RZA, now I'm about to do my best RZA impression. Don't laugh at me, I think I got it, y'all. I gotta take total credit for the idea. I just zoned the fuck out one night and did a beat. Mel came over, I told him I got a crazy idea on this one. I wanna use girls' breasts as imaginary ice cream cones, y'all. I came up with the idea to make t-shirts to go with it. Meth, you gonna do the hook. It was the first song besides You're All I Need to Get By that we pressured him into. He didn't like being the pretty boy. He took those words I said, French vanilla, butter pecan, and put them in perfect order. It was really Wu-Tang's first reach out to women. Nas wrote multiple verses for Verbal Intercourse. Nas had to have felt a little bit of pressure to be the only MC not in the clan. I'm sure he didn't want to let Ray down, but he came prepared, so he had a bunch of verses to spit. According to Primo, Nas had similar uncertainty about himself or an NY state of mind, but just like back then, Nas really didn't have anything to worry about. Everything was going to be just fine.
Coming to Staten Island with Raekwon and coming to the lab where you was cooking up, it'd be a different person any time, you know, different members of the crew there at different times, you know. And I got on a Verbal Intercourse joint. And I think at first Ray was like, I want you on the investigative reports.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yo, the beat was running.
That too, you know, you did a verse for the investigative reports. It's kind of lost into the templates of time, but he did a verse for investigative reports first, and then we switched it to
Verbal Intercourse. And I was like, yo, this joint is special. Like this joint right here on the classic Cuban Links album, and Ghost in there doing what he do. So I always felt like it was a family thing, you know, like my cousins from over there do this thing. I just was able to identify with you and your team.
We got in the studio, RZA played the beat, Nas was liking it, and he was trying different rhymes to it. We would sit there and he'd say some of his shit, but he didn't really know which rhyme he wanted to say. And I was there being like his little coach, and I was like, that's it, son. He was like, that's it? I was like, nigga, that's it. But he had already went through 3 or 4 rhymes, and he couldn't really see which one he wanted it to be. But I heard it. Once it came out his mouth, I was like, that's it. And while we're on the subject of Nas, I bet you didn't know that I did a video like this on Illmatic. It's called 10 Things You Didn't Know About Illmatic. It should be on your screen right now. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in that video. Peace.